If you're starting Amazon FBA in 2025, then this video is your warning. Most new sellers fail, not because the business model is broken, but because they make stupid mistakes. Now, I've made over £500,000 in profit selling on Amazon. But when I look back over the past couple of years, I came close to ruining my business multiple times in just the first year. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 4 worst mistakes that I see beginners making, from outsourcing too early to spending all their profits. So if you follow my advice, your chances of hitting 5k, 10k, or even 30k profit months will go up hugely. So let's get into it. So mistake number 1 is just scaling too fast. Everyone wants to scale, but scaling your business too quick before you've really truly mastered it is going to blow up your business and waste all of the money you're putting into the business before you've even made good progress. You shouldn't be spending thousands of pounds in the first week of starting Amazon before you've even mastered deal analysis and sourcing. There's going to be a lot of purchases you make that you'll come to probably regret further down the line because you've just looked at the deal wrong and maybe you've broken even or made a small loss on that product, and that's fine. That's completely natural. I've done it many times when I started out with Amazon. But you want to be spreading your risk over lots and lots of different products and not going too heavy on any one product at the start, because otherwise those mistakes, when they do happen, are going to be really hard to recover from. If it's just one product where you spent 50 quid and then you end up selling that for like a 10% loss, you've only lost a 5. It's fine. It's not something to cry about. But if you've spent £10,000 on one product and you've looked at it completely wrong and it turns out it only sells 1 unit per month, there's not a lot you can do there. You're gonna make a decent loss. Oops. Arbitrage is all about going wide and not deep. You want to spread your risk over as many different products as possible so that any mistakes or stuff that's just completely out of your control doesn't affect you massively. Volume doesn't fix bad decisions, it just magnifies them. So at the start with smaller orders, controlled orders, track all your wins and all your losses, and make sure to look at all the products that you've bought after you've sent them into Amazon and see how they're doing. You know, keep an eye on things. Don't just completely forget about them like I usually do nowadays. You want to be really tracking the data and keeping an eye on things so that you can learn from any mistakes that you make. As long as you can flip that L into a lesson, was it ever really an L to begin with? Now, admittedly, I did scale up Amazon really quick. I made 10k in profit on the 6th month from starting in 6 months time. That's crazy for a small business, especially something that I launched whilst I was at uni. But I do just have massive balls. And even though I did scale up really quickly, that was still a good 4 months of learning before I really pulled the trigger on any crazy spending. And it's important you guys do the same, you know. Those first few months are all about learning. Don't worry too much about making any serious profit. You just want to be really homing in your skills, getting really good at the deal analysis. And over time, once you've had a look at all your mistakes and your wins, you can then start to deploy a bit more serious capital into the business. Mistake number 2 is outsourcing too early. So a lot of people just want to kind of do what I've done, where I've just automated every part of the business from sourcing to admin to prep. And that's great. That should be your kind of long-term goal for Amazon FBA. But I have done it over the space of a few years. I did not do that in the first 3 months of doing it on Amazon. And you don't want to be trying to do the same. You got to take things step by step, and you want to wait for that step to kind of be all good and comfortable and you're comfortably standing there before you take that next one. Otherwise, you're just going to trip and you're gonna fall. Seeing your first 1, 2, 5 grand in sales profit is brilliant, and that's really kind of positive and you should feel great for that. But don't fall into the trap of going and spending it. Don't go and do what so many people I know have done, where they go out and they buy a flash car or a flash watch or loads of designer clothes. This is all, frankly, a waste of money. You want to be spending that profit on more stock. FBA is a compound interest business. The more money you put in from the start, the better you're going to be a year down the line. And you'll be in an even better position if every single penny of profit you can make, you put straight back into the business on more stock. It's how I've been able to basically double my money and more every single year I've been growing the business. And though I have bought some nice things for myself and had a great time, this is all a lot of the time money that I already had, or stuff like my company car, which is on a finance deal, so that I can keep using that money for stock while still kind of getting to have my cake and eat it too. And I wanted to include that detail in the video for full transparency. You know, I'm not completely perfect and do as I say, not as I do. But at the end of the day, it would have been a lot smarter for me to just kind of stick with the car I had and just continue putting that money that I'm paying each month towards that car into the business. It has definitely stifled my growth a little bit. You know, I dread to think where I could have been had I not bought that car, but at least I didn't pay for it outright and go spending anything crazy. You know, as I said, I already had money from elsewhere elsewhere that I was able to use to afford that car. You know, Amazon already takes their own cut from your business through seller fees and everything else. You don't want to be a fool and start taking another cut on top of that. As much as you physically can, keep that money in the business and you'll be thanking yourself a year from now. My kind of attitude to spending on stupid things has completely changed from when I first started the business, and I've realized this more and more. My mindset now is every pound that I spend now is £3 next year. And so if I wouldn't pay triple for it now, why am I buying it at all? And mistake number 4 has got to be just forcing a deal, you know, buying risky stock even though it looks a bit good on paper. You've got to completely be just devoid of emotion when you're analyzing these deals. You need to be looking at just the facts and the numbers. Is the stock seasonal? Is Amazon on the listing and hogging the buy box? Is the sales rank and the pricing consistent over the past 90 days? Are there any IP complaints on the brand? You know, is it a safe brand to sell on Amazon? There are so many different things that you need to be checking. It's well worth checking out another YouTube video that I've made on my own channel, Felix Amazon Cat, where I go through in a little bit more detail my kind of checklist for deal analysis. But you want to be checking these things every single time. Don't force a deal. Don't buy something you know is a little bit bad just because you haven't spent that much money today. There are plenty of days where I just spend no money at all on stock because there's simply no good deals about. And then there's other days where there's seemingly so many different sales and good things appearing at the same time that I'll easily spend like 20, 30 grand in a day on new stock. You want to be using Keeper and Profit Go to check every single deal, check all of those different kind of key points and key analysis points, and just be strict with yourself. As I said, don't force a deal. Good stuff is around the corner. Just keep waiting, keep sourcing, and as long as you stay consistent, the good stuff always finds you in the end. So these are the mistakes that ruin Amazon FBA businesses before they even get off the ground. But the good news is they're all completely avoidable once you're aware of them. And you know, as you saw in the video, I have made some of these mistakes myself, and I still managed to build a business that brings in 30k profit a month. And it runs mostly on autopilot, and it funds the lifestyle that I've always dreamed of. If you want to shortcut that learning curve, join our free community of Amazon FBA sellers at LiveCops, where you're going to gain access to expert advice from sellers just like myself. I will even help you set up your own Amazon FBA business and find you a profitable lead completely for free. So hit like if you found this video valuable, subscribe for more Amazon FBA content from me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.